Yes!
Hey everyone, Dante here with the Raging Geek, and in this video I just want to take a look at a recent acquisition. I picked up a original 1983 LJN Tiamat off of eBay. This is, I want to say, one of the few holy grails for at least my generation toy collectors. It's pretty rare. It's hard to find one where everything is working and specifically the wings are attached. So the 1983 LJN Advanced Dungeons and Dragons toy line was I want to say, combination of traditional Dungeons and Dragons tabletop RPG gaming monsters and some characters from the animated cartoon series. Tiamat being one of those characters who actually, is in both the role-playing game, but as far as depiction, this is more in line with the cartoon series character. As I said before, I got this on eBay. I got this for an awesome price. I got this for $350. In my experience, you won't really find any Tiamats with both wings attached in any, either glued or, on the side or whatnot. You usually won't find any for under $500. This particular one, when I originally bought it, it had the two wings broken off on the side, but unlike a lot of other Tiamats, it had the tabs for those wings. They were still inside the chassis, I want to say, or the body of Tiamat. And luckily they were such a clean break that gluing them back together was incredibly easy. And to tell you the truth, you really couldn't tell the difference, if they were brand new. It was such a clean break, and I was able to do such a simple glue job on them. I used some Loctite super glue. Toys, and when you want to keep the aesthetics of certain things, I tend to use the Loctite clear liquid super glue. It's better for more, I want to say, delicate applications. And it's also super strong at the same time. So I was able to reattach the tabs to the wings, and as you can see, it looks great. I'll give you a close-up. So, and just so you know, these wings, they will come out. There's a couple other videos and actually eBay listings out there with Tiamats where the wings are actually glued to the body of Tiamat, and yeah, that's like, I wouldn't find that desirable. You definitely want the wings. I guess from it doesn't really matter too much. The wings aren't going to come out again anyway, but I just it's nice to know that, if you had to maybe resell this or transport it, you definitely wouldn't want to ship something like this with the wings attached. It's just a recipe to have the wings break off again. Let's take a look at some of the Tiamat features. Tiamat has two action features. She's got a kind of a grab action feature here where you press this tab on her back here, and you can see her hands. You see how she it's like she likes to scoop something up, or she wants to kind of grab something, and that's pretty much the extent of it. From what I understand, certain people say, they say the grabbing action when the toy was new might have been a bit more extensive as far as, you know, maybe I think the hands might come closer together. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, it still works somewhat, you know, for its age. It still seems to work. You can also twist the hands here from, you know, like a down position like that, so you can twist them up like that. So I guess when you do the grasping action, it'll be like she's trying to grab. You can also pull down her mane here, and as you can see, there's like a mouth action that works. The tail also adjusts. You can move the tail. The wings do not move, and don't try to move the wings unless you want them to break again. Her other heads here, similar, definitely similar to like the bendy toys of the 80s, you know, where it was basically a rubber toy, and you know, you could flex the limbs because it had like a, you know, a metal wire inside. Same design with these heads. You know, you can flex them. You can pivot the base so both heads move. You know, like that. And then you can also you can flex the individual heads. You know, so you can make them look up or down or whatever you want. You know, if you're looking out for one of these, you know, I would say a big thing to look out for is the paint quality on these. I mean, you know, this is definitely a toy that the majority of the time, you know, back in the 80s, you know, most of the Tiamats out there were well played with. And it goes to show, you know, if you look at, I'd say 90% of the auctions on eBay or anywhere else you might find these, the wings are busted. You know, it's hard to find one that, you know, has a great paint job. You know, I felt this one had a great paint job. I mean, you could see, for the most part, you know, as far as the chest here and the necks, I mean, the paint is pretty flawless. You know, it's well preserved. Same thing with the yellow mane. I mean, it's a vibrant yellow. One thing I noticed on these, and specifically with the white head, I noticed that the white paint on the white head usually fades out on a lot of these heads. So, you know, over time, this white paint, if it fades, you'll start to see the orange peek through, and you'll see that on a lot of and that could happen to a lot of the other heads too, but more times than not on the white head. And I believe the white head is the ice head. You know, if you're in the market for these, check the paint on these bendable heads, because they tend to fade. Also, you can see the tail here. Not too much fading on the orange tail. You know, make sure there's no scuffs on the chassis. But I have to say, you know, $350 for this, I mean, I thought it was like a steal. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I mean, really, so the tabs were broken in onto the slots on the chassis, and really I just took some needle nose pliers and they came right out. I was like so happy. You know, I figured when I got it, I was taking a bit, I don't want to say a huge gamble, but I figured it was a fair chance that the tabs would come out if, you know, I was able to get a good grip on them. But you never know. You know, I saw one of these recently, and the auction just ended the other day. But and he didn't show a picture of it, but there was one that was supposedly still sealed in the original plastic. You know, with the original inserts and everything still in the plastic, but the box was all beat up, but he still had the box. Unplayed with Tiamat, $1,700. and this was on eBay, so you could only imagine what a pristine one, a sealed box Tiamat would cost. I wouldn't be surprised if someone tried to sell it for like at least $10,000. Yeah, $1,700 for a sealed, unplayed with Tiamat in a cruddy old box. But something like this, I mean, in the shape it's in, I wouldn't be surprised if, and I would never do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could sell this for anywhere between $600 to $1,000, no problem. Tiamat, definitely one of those characters from the Dungeons and Dragons animated series from the 80s. You would get ultra excited when she made an appearance, which wasn't too often. Aside from the introduction you saw every time, I think she might have had like 3 or 4 appearances in all the series. Tiamat, 1983 LJN. Pick up your own on eBay. You might get lucky. This was the Raging Geek. I hope you enjoyed this video. Come again soon. Take care. You're weak. What do you know of Venger?
Raging Geek, Retro, all things geek, where geeks can be geeks. Raging Geek, Retro, all things geek, where geeks can be geeks.